monument is like its calling card, even in silhouette. We know this is New York City, and the Space Needle is a dead giveaway that this is Seattle. Boston is recognizable by its relatively short stature, save for the Hancock and the Prue. But Boston's skyline could soon take on a new shape thanks to a new $1 billion development plan. Boston's waterfront is already undergoing a massive transformation. And developer Don Chaffaro has now come up with an all-new plan to transform this spot on Atlantic Avenue, where a run-of-the-mill parking garage now stands, into the home of 2 glass skyscrapers. The proposed towers would stand 600 and 550 feet tall and house up to 300 hotel rooms, 120 luxury condos, and 3 stories of restaurants and retail shops. The proposal also includes a 70-foot arcade with a retractable roof. The public space would connect the Greenway to Boston Harbor and feature an open-air lawn in the spring and summer and a skating rink in the winter. Okay, well, this isn't the first time Chaffaro has made a play to transform this waterfront parcel. In 2008, he proposed 2 700-foot buildings rivaling the Hancock Tower in height. City officials balked, so the following year he scaled back by 20%, but his plans still didn't fly. So will the third time be the charm? What do you think?
Well, we're hoping. We're hoping. The early indications are that we're doing some things that people find very interesting. We've concentrated our entire focus on the ground level and the opportunities to activate the site, to create a visual access and a pedestrian access to the waterfront. That's one of the objectives that the city has and the public realm plan has. So we're excited about the opportunity. I mean, it really is. And what's very interesting is that nobody has suggested that we ought to preserve the Harbor Garage.
No. I mean, look, I don't want to bring up a sore subject, but you were at loggerheads with Boston Mayor Tom Menino for, what, 7 years over this? You acquired the building in 07, I think?
Yeah.
You even put that red X on it for a while, just kind of because every time you proposed something, he rejected it. And it became, let's face it, a nasty dispute over time. But no one is in love with this garage. And you're going to have parking in the new building. Right. And you've also said that you'll save 1,400 spots for the people in Harbor Tower, which is part of the issue.
Right. Well, we're not going to add any parking, but we have 14 cars of parking, 1,400 cars of parking. We're going to put it below grade. And that's because we're going to have parking for Harbor Towers. We're going to have parking for the aquarium, and we'll have parking for the mixed-use project that we plan to have there. So the interesting thing is that we're not going to create any net new parking. We're not going to create any net new traffic because there will actually be fewer vehicle trips each day because we'll have parking for the people that live there, the people that live at Harbor Towers.
And the rest of it, people get there by mass transit. Well, I want to put the pictures back up again inside because I want you to explain a couple of the renderings.
Right.
This glass object right here, is that the retractable area?
Yeah, on the right-hand side is the residential side. It starts with a 250, 300-room hotel, ultra-luxury hotel. And this, interestingly enough, and we've had a lot of hotel people come through, it's one of the best hotel sites in North America. People love there aren't that many sites like this. You're on the water on one side, you've got 4 front doors, you've got the Greenway in the city on the other side. So it's a very unique location. So on the right-hand side you have a hotel and then condos on top. On the left-hand side you have an office building. And you're looking now from the water side. We were looking from the Greenway side before. But that center court, believe it or not, is 70 feet wide in the middle. At the front entrance, we've transformed the garage, which is 275 feet long and 7 stories high. We've transformed that to an opening that's 148 feet wide.
What's this now? Is that
this is a rendering of a fall scene where we have a farmer's market inside. This is really big space.
Right. So, Don, I mean, truthfully, though, I've never seen a glass building that's really that clear. You can't really see through it. I mean, the windows are never that clean. I mean, so right now, in that front view, you're sort of seeing the water from the front, but in truth, you won't be able to do that.
Well, I think you will.
You do?
I think you will. In fact, as I was I was actually talking to your next guest, who comes from the BRA.
Yeah.
I thought that this was...
No, it wasn't a setup.
I thought it was a setup, and when I found out you were going to talk about hens and vegetables, I was relieved. But we talked about the building at the business school. It has a very similar front entrance, all glass, and he remarked at just how you can see through the building when the sun is in a certain way. But this is very big space. The center courtyard is the size of a city street. It's also 70 feet high.
And anybody will be able to go in there.
It's open 24/7. It's like a public street. So anytime, when the businesses close up at the end of the night, like Faneuil Hall, you can walk through Faneuil Hall right down the middle of the Faneuil. You'll be able to walk through this. You'll be able to walk to the water.
So one of the issues that Mayor Tom Menino had, and has been under discussion now because the buildings are still pretty high at 500 and 600 feet, is the shadows on the Greenway. Has that been resolved?
Well, it's one of the subjects that we're actually going to be talking about, and everyone notices that if you build a new building, you're going to create shadows. And I had an interesting comment from somebody who runs the Greenway. We could use, in August and July, we call it shade. It's actually a good thing. And so, yeah, it's a subject that will be part of the discussion. The process that we go through right now is actually to talk about shadows. It's to talk about height, and it's to create measures and ways to mitigate through a series of offsets any of the impacts that a big building is going to create. There's no question if you're going to build something there, it's going to create a new shadow. But that's true of every place in the city.
So in addition to luxury condos, do you have a linkage program here? Is there going to be some affordable and all that stuff?
Yeah, right now the garage generates about $2 million in taxes for the city. It's not bad, all right? It's going to generate $20 million, this project when completed. It's going to create $12 million for affordable and market rate housing. It's going to create extraordinary amounts of money for a linkage. Will be the traditional linkage contract. And as part of the process that we're going through right now, we will be making contributions and improvements to the public realm. We'll be making contributions and improvements to the Greenway. Between International Place and this project, we're the largest taxpayer, we're the largest landowner, we're the largest abutter on the Greenway. So we have a vested interest in its success, and we're going to, as I say, put our money where our mouth is.
So I'm curious, just as a developer, where you stand on the idea of Boston being a host city for the Olympics?
Well, I love the idea of a big idea. And I've always thought that, I used to say, well, if we had a big idea, what would we do with it? And now we have a big idea, and John Fish, to his credit, is moving that big idea down the road. And he seems to have a lot of other people that think it's a good idea. All the things that come out of a big idea, all the things that he's pointing out, all the infrastructure improvements, are real, and they're investments. I mean, we tend to underappreciate the important infrastructure investments that we got from the Greenway, that we got from the depressed artery, that we got from the cleanup of Boston Harbor. But between Boston Harbor and the depressed artery, we spent $30 billion. And guess what? Boston is one of the hottest cities in America. We have growth. We have people young people that want to come to the city, stay in the city, have jobs. Companies want to grow in the city. So this is
it was worth it. Easy for us to say, right?
Well, it was worth it.
Yeah.
And, I think that when you look around, we should always think positively and a big thought about making big investments in the future.
All right. Don Chaffaro, it was a pleasure to have you.
Great. Thank you.
Good luck with your project.
Thank you very much.
All right. We want to know what you think. Would you like to see this development go up along the seaport? Email us at greaterboston@wgbh.org, and we'll read some of your comments during tomorrow night's show.